Hey guys, I'm Greg. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's go see what's in the fridge today, guys. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. I know this is going to be a winner here. This is Evil Twins Double Barrel Jesus. And this is an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Doesn't get any better than that. And this is a big beer too, guys. This is a 12%er. Jeppy, the brewer that does the Evil Twin Brewings, does some awesome beers, just like his brother McKellar does. McKellar does this stuff over in Denmark and over in that area over there. And they're considered vagabond brewers. And what that is they don't actually have a brewery where they brew all their stuff. They go to different breweries and have them brew their recipes and bottle the beer from there. This particular one here, it says Evil Twin Brewing out of New York. And that's all I have here. And I think this is imported by 12% LLC, Brooklyn, New York. Produced and bottled for Evil Twin at Westbrook Brewing Company out of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So this one was actually done at one of the South Carolina breweries for Jeppy or Evil Twin, and I'm not sure if it has a date on it because it's sweating profusely now that I've got it out. But this is a great big beer that's going to keep for years and years and years and years and years. But I would like to see a date on it as far as a month and a year. It doesn't have to have the day. It doesn't really have to have the month, but I'd like to know whether it was done in January of 2015 or December of 2015 or whatever, just so we'll know how old the beer is. If you're looking at it and it says 2015, was it January 2015 or was it December of 2015? So it helps just to know. So, and it says rotating schedule. It's not a brewed once beer, so I don't know how often they're going to brew this or how often they have brewed this. This is the first time that I have actually got my hands on one of these, and thanks to my good friend Scott that sent me this beer. I can get some of the Evil Twin beers here, but it's a limited selection, and you never know what you're going to, as Forrest Gump would say, you never know what you're going to get. So my hat's off to Scott for sending me this. This is probably not a cheap beer. It's a 22 ouncer. I would say this is probably in between the $12 and $25 range, somewhere in there. I'm just guessing. But Evil Twin Brewing, some people say they can get them fairly cheap. $15, $14, $15 for a 4-pack. And that's for the smaller bottles. These bigger bottles are, where I buy my beers, these 22-ounce Evil Twin beers are not cheap. They're kind of pricey. But when you're drinking a bourbon barrel aged 12% stout, it costs a little bit more to brew that beer. Not only for the malt and stuff that's used in brewing a 12% beer, but then to be bourbon barrel aged, and I don't know how long it sits in a corner of the brewery, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year. I don't have that information. Let me read you what the commercial description said, which is exactly what's written on the bottle. A few times in history of craft beer it has happened that a highly praised beer rises beyond mortal stardom into a higher godly league. Usually the recipe to make such heavenly drops is thick fudge-like body, pitch black color, amazingly overwhelming aromas of chocolate, coffee, dark fruits, muscovado, sugar, and by all means aged in barrels and blended into this very unique and rare tasting version standing in front of you. So, pretty sure this is going to be a tasty beer. whenever I get my hands on an Imperial Stout that's done in bourbon barrels, usually it's a winner to me. Very rarely that I'll get something that I don't like, especially if it's done well, and then aged in bourbon barrels. So let's see what this one brings to the table. I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. I like just about all the Evil Twin beers that I've got my hands on. My only fuss is they are kind of pricey, especially for me here. Now, if you can get them cheaper in your area, consider yourself lucky. But they are not cheap here where I get my beers. So let's get on with this one. I've read you the commercial description here. Let's go over to the food pairings. The food pairings for this beer, if I can get the tablet to work, wake up. And it says here, for this beer, cheese and peppery, brie, Gouda, Havarti, Swiss. And since it is a stout, it goes well with your chocolate dishes, of course. There should be some chocolate notes in this beer. And it also says digestive. You could drink this beer as dessert, probably, after your dinner or with a strong dish dinner. The meat for this is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glass or a pint Bacaronic tumbler, snifter, oversized wine glass. I'm going to use a double glass for this one today, guys. And it says here can be set up for long periods under the proper conditions. It's time. Let's get it on. Nice hiss. Nice carbonation on that. Into the glass we go. Look at that. That looks like motor oil coming out there, guys. Straight down the center. This is not going to pour a very big head. Man, let me save some for the other half. She'll be mad at me if I drink a whole 22 ouncer. And rightfully so. Don't be a pig. Alright, didn't pour hardly any head. It's just barely covering the top of the glass, guys. Over to the light. There is none. It's pitch black. It is black, 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 black. Let's get a nose on it. The bourbon is just off the chain. Oh man, that's like liquid sex in the glass, guys. I say that every now and again, but this is the final beer of the evening. You wouldn't want to have anything after this, especially some kind of lighter beer. Once you have something like this, you should be done. If you're going to drink an IPA or a Pale Ale or a lager after this, you're wasting your time and your money as far as I'm concerned. Start off with your lighter beers and work your way into something like this and finish up with this. Because this is going to have such a rich, bold bourbon taste. This is going to kill everything else after that you drink. And you're drinking a 12%er here. My God, why would you want to drink something else after that? I don't. Finish up the evening style of beer. The bourbon is just off the chain, guys. It's just off the freaking chain. It is so overbearing that I'm not getting a whole lot. Getting the roasted malt, no doubt. And I'm probably going to taste some dark fruits and some chocolate, maybe some coffee or tobacco in there. But the bourbon is just overwhelming everything else. It's right out of the bottle fresh. Oh, the bourbon is just... It's time. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Scott. Thank you, brother. Oh, man. Chocolate. The chocolate is this. The chocolate in the bourbon. Wow. Wow. Burnt roasted malt, chocolate, bourbon, coffee, licorice, plums, dates, figs, raisins. This beer's got it going on. Wow. That beer, probably the best beer that I've tasted in quite a while. Would not surprise me if this was a $25 a bottle beer. Next time I go to the Barrel Chest, I'm going to see if they have this or can get this. And I'm going to try to pick up some of this. I don't know if there's a bottle limit, if they do have it. If they do have it, I'm probably going to pick up at least one, if not two, to sell it. This would be a great beer to put in the fridge for 3, 5, 10 years. You can get multiple bottles of this. If it doesn't have a vintage on it, put it on there when you bought it. Put this in the fridge. I bought this in 2015. Let's drink it in 2017, 2020, 2025. Great beer to sell, guys. It is awesome. Got everything going on. It's just going to get better over time. It's just all this stuff's going to set together and get more complex. It's awesome, guys. It's freaking awesome. Well, let me take it back and sip on it for a little while. Might fire up a stogie to go with this. Almost looks like a dark wine, a deep burgundy wine in the glass with no head on it. Wow, that is just, I can't believe the chocolate in this. That beer is phenomenal, guys. It's phenomenal. I'll be right back and we'll do the final chug on this one. I'm impressed. Hair is going back. Socks are gone. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this probably about 45 minutes. This beer is freaking awesome. But before I get into this, I got a little rant and rave I want to do. And hopefully this video will become a 30-minute video. One of my subscribers, because I fuss about the dating of beers all the time, brought to my attention there is a federal law that states that these breweries that brew beers are not required to put any kind of dating on their beers unless the state they're distributing in requires it. And if your state does not require it, they are not obligated to put that date on there. This was done in this was done in 1993, and it was an indefinite ruling. So as of 1993, they are not required unless each individual state requires them to put a date on their beers. That's what's wrong with the craft beer industry as far as I'm concerned. And another thing, I don't usually get into politics because I'm not Republican, Democrat, or on either side there. Until we get term limits on Congress, where we get rid of these career politicians that's been in office 20, 30, 40 years. We don't have that on the presidency. I think it ought to be a limit on how long you can be in Congress. 2 terms. You can serve 2 terms. And then somebody else needs to come in there. Until we get term limits on Congress, all the lobbyists have got these guys in their pockets, guys. Nothing's going to change. That's why the country is in the shape that it's in. Because the liberals and the lobbyists and everybody else have got all of these people in their pockets. They are paying them to vote their way. So, just my little rant and rave. That's why the world, not the world, but the United States is in the shape that it's in. Because we have career politicians that are bought out by the lobbyist guys. And that's why the craft beer industry is suffering right now, as far as I'm concerned. It's growing by leaps and bounds, but not having to date your beers is one big reason why I rant and rave all the time about dating other beers. But they don't have to. It's not required by law. And as many laws as we have, until that changes, the breweries are not inclined to do anything different than what they're doing right now. Unless they're interested in what the consumers of their beers think and want from their beer companies or the craft beer industry, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. So, and that's just my 2 cents worth, guys. Until we get term limits on Congress, nothing's going to change in the United States. we can get a new president every 4 or 8 years or whatever. But the Congress still votes the way they want to vote, and they can override and do all kinds of different stuff. And the political game is just a freaking joke. It is a joke, guys. It is a freaking joke. But it's the world we live in, and as long as we have these people that get into Congress and they stay there 20, 30, 40 years and they vote the way the lobbyists are paying them to vote, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to fucking change. It's sad. It's very, very sad. If the people that come across the ocean and started this country back in the 1700s, and I'm talking about all the big wheels, John Hancock and Thomas Jefferson and everybody that signed the Declaration of Independence. If they were here today, they would be looking for somewhere else to go to start a new country, because this is so, excuse my language, fucked up. It is so screwed. And you shouldn't have, when back in that day the people were farmers and business owners, and they did that little stint in Congress or whatever, and then they got out and went back to their farms or their businesses or whatever. But now these people get into office and they stay there for frickin' ever, and they vote the way the lobbyists pay them to vote. That's sad. So enough about that. I just want to bring that to your attention. The beer companies are not required to put on a date on their beers unless the state they are distributing in requires them to. And if they do not, they don't have to. Bottom line, they don't have to. And they choose not to because they don't have to. And it gives their beers longer shelf life. So, with that being said, this freaking beer is awesome. This is an awesome beer. This is probably the best bourbon barrel aged stout that I've had in a long, long time. It is very, very good. I would not hesitate to say this is probably the best bourbon barrel aged stout that I've had in 6, 8 months, maybe even a year. It's pretty damn tasty, guys. And like I said earlier, from the initial sips of this beer, I would buy this beer again, and I am going to check when I go to my beer store the next time if I can get another bottle of this or 2, maybe even 3 or 4. Even though it's probably going to be a pricey beer, it would not surprise me at all that this is a $25 a bottle of beer. It would not surprise me at all. But it's worth it. If you're into this style, which is a 12% bourbon barrel aged stout made exceptionally well, it's worth it. I mean, this is not something you want to drink every day. This is a beer for special occasions, or however you choose to drink it, or if you want to cellar it, drink one now, drink one 2, 3, 5 years, drink one 10 years, 15 years down the road. This beer is probably one of the ones to pick up. It would probably be on my top 10 list for sure. So, with that being said, like I said, I've ranted and raved long enough. Let's see the final chug on this one. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to see a bunch more laws passed, but it's time that we have a date on our bottles. Whether the state requires it or not, it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Would you buy a loaf of bread? You didn't know how old it was. You get it home and you're looking at it and it's got mold growing on it somewhere, or a gallon of milk, and you open it up and it smells like buttermilk or sour whatever. When you pop the cap on it, you wouldn't buy food that way. So why should us as craft beer consumers have to purchase beer that way? My 2 cents. Alright, with that being said, guys, this is freaking awesome. Like you can probably tell from what I've said already for this beer. This is a 10 beer to me. It is a 10 beer to me. Even though there's no date that I can see on this bottle at all. There's none. And I've looked pretty good. There is no beer, but it is a 12%er that's going to keep basically forever, almost 20 years at least. It's a damn tasty beer. I am blown away by the taste of this beer, with the chocolate and the roasted or the burnt characters of the malt, heavily roasted malt, dark fruit. bourbon. Did I say chocolate? Yeah, I believe I did. It's awesome. It's pretty damn tasty. 10 for me on this one, guys. Even though it does not have a date, this beer doesn't need a date as far as the alcohol and the style of beer, but I would like to see a vintage on it somewhere. This was done in 2012, 2013, 2015. Enough of that. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 98 world class. Big numbers from those guys over there. They don't hand those numbers out very easily. And over to Rate Beer, they say 100 overall and 99 in the style. I would agree with that 100 overall. It is a 100. It's world class. It's exceptional. It's outstanding. It is delicious. I'm sure it's pricey, but it is definitely worth picking up. This is not something, like I said, you'd want to pick up and drink every day, or pick up and chug the bottle. This is a sipping beer, 12%er. Almost a special occasion beer as far as I'm concerned. Very, very nice. Scott, thanks, brother. I do appreciate this beer. This was awesome. You are the man. This was damn tasty. Alright, that's all I got to say about this one. I hate this is going to be a long video, but I had to get that little bit of... And I don't do a lot of political views one way or the other because I'm not Republican or Democrat, either one. But there are so many silly-ass laws that are passed. And I hate to see even more laws passed to control anything, because I'm not into the control freak part of the laws and shit that's passed. But I do think that the breweries should be required to date their stuff. That's just my 2 cents. I think they should. No matter what state it's going to, I think as consumers and people that are spending their hard-earned money to purchase these beer, they ought to know how old the beer is. Bottom line. So with that being said, if you've had this one from Evil Twin, this is their double barrel. Jesus, Lord have mercy. It's awesome. If you've had it, let me know what you think, guys. And let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See everybody then.